I've been working through the night, I've burned the midnight oil. The nation's unemployed and still I sweat and slave and toil. 'Cause my responsibility is writing up the news. The world has gone to hell, I've got those COVID-19 blues. All around the bars are closed, there ain't a thing to do. The panic buying's cleared the shelves of toilet paper too. You'd lose your grip on sanity if you filled my shoes, reporting every day about those COVID-19 blues. And if I could choose, I'd write, hold on and stay strong for someone, somewhere. This age of isolation seems to drag on for so long. But someday, sometime, we'll end this hibernation and the world will reawaken. Just know you're not forsaken. Dry your tears, try to shake those lonely blues. Don't read the COVID-19 news. I'd love to see my folks up north, but the border's closed. They ran a little restaurant chain till the bank foreclosed. I'm typing out these tales of woe, it's only bad reviews. Working as a journal with those COVID-19 blues. I'd surely miss a warm embrace, but loving ain't allowed. Adhere to social distancing, they say that 3 is a crowd. I'm writing about society, tightening the screws. The world won't be the same, it's got those COVID-19 blues. If I controlled the news, I'd write, hold on and stay strong for someone, somewhere. This age of isolation seems to drag on for so long. But someday, sometime, we'll end this hibernation and the world will reawaken. Just know you're not forsaken. Dry your tears, try to shake those lonely blues. Don't read the hard luck COVID-19 news. All our precious time was taken by a thief who left no clues. A virus called the COVID-19 blues.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Maria Demopoulos and I have the honour of being your MC for tonight. Welcome everyone to the 2021 Australian Migration and Settlement Awards. Before we begin, I'd like to take the time, of course, to acknowledge the traditional owners and custodians of the lands on which we're on across this great country of ours, and pay our respects to Indigenous elders past, present and emerging. Sovereignty has never been ceded. It always was and always will be Aboriginal land. Our opening music act for the night was Joe Kelly, the Canberra Bureau Chief for The Australian, with his very timely piece, The COVID-19 Blues. I actually read a recent interview where this incredibly talented musician and journalist said he recorded a musical piece where he seeks to capture the heartache of the coronavirus, but also explore the issues caused by the national lockdown with a slight sense of humour. I'm sure you'll agree he's undoubtedly succeeded in doing just that. Thank you, Joe Kelly, for a great opening act. I also want to take some time to acknowledge the amazing VIPs in attendance, indeed in abundance. The Honourable Alex Hawke, MP, Minister for Immigration, Citizenship, Migrant Services and Multicultural Affairs. Distinguished senators and MPs, and they are numerous. The Honourable Nola Marino MP, Assistant Minister for Regional Development and Territories. Dr. Jim Chalmers, MP, Shadow Treasurer. Andrew Giles, MP, Shadow Minister for Multicultural Affairs and Shadow Minister assisting for Immigration and Citizenship. Senator Raf Sassoni, Garth Hamilton MP, Gladys Liu MP, Julie Owens MP, Anne Stanley MP, Dr. Katie Allen MP. I'd also like to acknowledge Alison Larkins, Commonwealth Coordinator General for Migrant Services, Andrew Kerford, Deputy Secretary, Immigration and Settlement Services with the Department of Home Affairs. On we go. Emeritus Professor Rosalind Croucher AM, President of the Australian Human Rights Commission. Viv Nguyen, Chair of the Victorian Multicultural Commission. Melissa Monteiro, Chair of the Settlement Council of Australia. Carmel Guerra, Chair of the Multicultural Youth Advocacy Network. Nyadol Nguyen, Chair of Harmony Alliance, and Najit Lum, Deputy Representative of UNHCR. And of course, I'd like to acknowledge all of you, the many, many leaders, the many activists of the settlement sector joining us tonight. I don't need to say this to a wonderful group that's joining us tonight, but we know that ours is a unique sector that plays a key role in building multiculturalism in Australia and promoting social cohesion. It's a sector that comprises highly specialised expertise in the settlement of newly arrived migrants and refugees. And of course, tonight, we are celebrating the incredible work, your incredible work, the commitment, the dedication, the passion and efforts of organisations and individuals who provide support under the Settlement, Engagement and Transition Support, or as we like to call it, the SETS program, and particularly during the challenges presented to us by the COVID-19 pandemic. The finalists have been selected by an independent judging panel, and they've demonstrated that they have gone above and beyond to assist newly arrived migrants and refugees. Tonight, folks, there are 3 awards. The award for SETS Caseworker of the Year, the award for SETS Settlement Innovation, and the award for Empowering Women. Now, this, of course, is the first time that these award ceremonies have been held virtually. And although we're participating from the safety of our couches, our lounge rooms, our kitchens, and not at the Great Hall at Parliament House, as per the tradition that we've become used to, we've got quite a few things planned to keep us entertained and, of course, to distract you from any of the countless pitfalls associated with virtual emceeing. If I could get the screen with the information now, this is pretty exciting. The best dressed competition. Please, we want to encourage you sitting there in your lounge rooms. We know that you're into the gala event here. If you think that you would warrant the award for best dressed of tonight, then please send your photos. And there's the details there for awards at migrationcouncil.org.au. The winner will be announced at the conclusion of tonight. We've also got a trivia competition. and this will run between speakers at the event. 4 questions in total. You can participate by surfing to kahoo.it and entering in the pin that you see displayed on the screen right now. You might want to take a screenshot, but you will have 10 minutes to enter the trivia after each question, of course, and then entries will be closed. Again, the winner will be announced at the end of the event. So get into it, folks, because the winner of the best dress competition will win a $150 Mecca gift card, and the winner of the trivia award will win $150 My Card. And I'm sure we can all make good use of those. Social media, as we know, it's a good time and an opportunity to promote this great event tonight. Follow our live tweets on the Migration Council at Migration CA, and please feel free to tweet about the event as well using the hashtag Migration Awards. Okay, let's get started into the formal part of tonight, and it gives me great pleasure to introduce Innes Willox. Innes is known to all of us, of course, a Chief Executive of the Australian Industry Group, but his favourite job, he keeps telling all of us, is to chair the Migration Council of Australia. He's got a deep commitment to settlement and migration and a lifelong passion for the value that diversity brings to our communities. Thank you, Innes, for your commitment, for your passion to the settlement sector. I'm going to pass it over to you to get this evening started. Thank you, Innes.
Thanks, Maria. Thanks so much for that wonderful introduction, and I'll never talk to Joe Kelly again in the same way after that musical introduction. That was fantastic. It's my pleasure on behalf of the board and the staff of the Migration Council of Australia, the staff led by the wonderful Carla Wilshire, to welcome you all here tonight and also to introduce our guest speaker, the new Minister for Immigration, Alex Hawke, to all our MPs, senior officials and others from around the country. It's a great pleasure to have you here, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. As Maria mentioned, we usually gather annually in the Great Hall of Parliament House, but things being as they now are, with COVID still with us, we've had to, for the first time, do these awards virtually. But thank you all for joining us, as Maria said, from your lounge rooms, from your offices, from your kitchens, your cars, no matter where you are. This is a great night and a great night of recognition for the settlement community and the migration community as a whole. And it's our pleasure to be with you tonight.
Innes, I'm just going to interrupt you because in the true tradition of virtual events, we've just heard that the Minister is now not available at the moment. So we might need to actually put that on hold just for a few moments, we hope. But we will perhaps move on to Alison at this point, if that's all right. I hope that was a yes, of course, Maria. Of course, we will do that. Can I perhaps at this point then ask Alison to step in, please?
Can you hear me? I'm unmuted. I've done the first step. Welcome. Good evening, everyone. It's lovely to be here. Can I also just start by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land from which I'm speaking to you, the Ngunnawal people, and by paying my respects to their elders past, present and emerging, and extending that acknowledgement to any Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people joining us online today. I'd also like to acknowledge the Minister for Immigration, Citizenship, Migrant Services and Multicultural Affairs, the Honourable Alex Hawke MP, who I hope will join us soon, and the Shadow Minister for Multicultural Affairs, Cities and Urban Infrastructure, and the Shadow Minister assisting for Immigration and Citizenship, Mr Andrew Giles MP, and all other distinguished guests. Can I also offer my thanks to the Migration Council of Australia for organising this event and inviting me to present an award this evening. It's been such a privilege and pleasure for me to engage with settlement engagement and transition support service providers since I started in my role in late 2019. And I've been really inspired by the dedication, commitment and passion of service providers who are working to achieve great settlement and integration outcomes for refugees and other migrants. And of course, this commitment is shared by all of the other service providers and community groups working in the field. And I acknowledge the important contribution of people working right across the sector, whether it be in the Adult Migrant English program, the Humanitarian Settlement program, community hubs, or the myriad other community organisations and individuals that support Australia's settlement and integration efforts. I'd like to acknowledge the resilience that settlement service providers have demonstrated during the really unprecedented challenges of last year through COVID-19, and the spirit of innovation that's been demonstrated in ensuring essential services to refugees and other migrants have continued during this time. And I'm very pleased that your achievements in those areas are acknowledged through this year's awards. Successful settlement depends on the development of individual relationships that ensure refugees and other migrants feel supported to adapt to, gain information about, and build their lives in Australia. Settlement caseworkers play a critical role within the settlement process by providing services based on an individual's specific needs. The services that are provided are more diverse than I think we could all imagine, or that I certainly imagined before taking on this role, ranging from homework clubs that help children engage in their education, the provision of information and support to access employment mentoring programs, pre-vocational training and work experience, supporting migrants to participate in sporting or social clubs that relate to their specific interests. Caseworkers also support migrants to connect with other mainstream providers such as Job Active, helping migrants to access mainstream services that all Australians and permanent residents have access to. So SETS caseworkers ensure migrants feel welcomed in Australia and are supported to participate in our community. I have been fortunate to witness the care, consideration and attention that caseworkers apply to supporting refugees and migrants. They go above and beyond to ensure they provide culturally appropriate services that meet individual needs of the people for people new to the country as they navigate their settlement journey. I commend all settlement caseworkers right across Australia for their direct contribution to improving settlement and integration outcomes, and I'm honoured to present an award at this evening's event. Thank you.
Alison, can I say that I know you are known to many of us joining tonight, but I can't let it be forgotten, or perhaps I feel like I just need to say that you're an incredibly well-loved individual across the sector. I know that you've made phenomenal contributions to migrant, refugee and humanitarian entrants, and this has no doubt been celebrated and should not go unnoticed. So thank you. I feel like you should have got the proper introduction that you deserve. So I just wanted to interrupt at that point. Thank you so much for all that you do. So over to you for the Caseworker of the Year.
So is there a drum roll?
I feel like there should be.
So I have...
The Caseworker of the Year Award honours an outstanding individual recognised by their employer and community to have performed beyond expectations in the settlement of newly arrived refugees or migrants, particularly during the COVID-19 pandemic. This year, the finalists are Victoria Malik from Pilbara Community Legal Service, Abdirahman Sheikh from Spectrum Migrant Resource Centre, Zahir Azimi from Bendigo Community Health Services.
Thank you, everyone. I have this envelope. I'm carefully opening it. It's my great pleasure to announce that the winner of the SETS Caseworker of the Year award goes to Abdirahman Sheikh.
Just go here. Yeah. Oh, what an honor. I'm actually shocked. Good evening, everyone. I think I'm a bit nervous and actually forgot to greet everyone. It's good to be here tonight, here with Spectrum and all my colleagues. Good evening to you. I'm actually honored to be receiving this an award, the Australian Migration and Settlement Award. I'm really grateful that my work has been the recognition I've received for my work, because I know that all the other nominees are capable, if not more, of winning this award. Thank you for this amazing award. I would not have done my job without the support of my colleagues. It's a collective effort that we support our clients for a meaningful outcome. And everyone here tonight and those who couldn't make it, thank you very much. Thanks to my family who've always supported me, and I'm honored. Thank you.
A trusted source of advice and a well of support, Abdirahman is the glue that holds so many young families together. Working in Melbourne's West, Abdirahman works tirelessly to reduce the stigma of getting support outside the home, creating space for his clients to ask for help. A gentle, calm and caring soul, Abdirahman has the trust of both mothers and fathers to ensure their voices are heard, giving them the tools to be better parents and carers. When COVID-19 hit, Abdirahman stepped up to the challenge, working long hours to support families with no English, to homeschool while delivering toys and essential goods to families in crisis. His primary concern in 2020 was ensuring every woman experiencing family violence during lockdown got the support and help they needed.
There's no doubt that Abdirahman is a very deserving recipient of that award. It's also great to see such celebration going on in Victoria. I'm sure all of you sitting on your couches watching that are giving him a huge round of applause. Technological glitches aside, it's not going to dampen our excitement for tonight. Well done and congratulations again. And Alison, thank you for presenting that award. We always appreciate the time and effort. And as I say, your passion and dedication is known to almost all of us, I'd argue, across the settlement sector. It's time for trivia. And again, we have those details up there and really want to encourage you to use that PIN number and have a go. I'm sure that you will be more than familiar with the answers to this question. Question number one, who is the current United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees? As you can see, is it Antonio Guterres? Is it Andrew Harper, Filippo Grandi or Naomi Steer? So you've got four options there, folks. 10 minutes you'll have to enter in your responses before entries are closed, encouraging you to enter your answer to that question right now. Whilst everybody's doing that, it gives me great pleasure now to go back to Inez, who will be able to continue to introduce the Minister. We understand that he's now available, given his busy schedule. We certainly feel incredibly grateful for the time that he's taken. Back to you, Inez. Aren't we an adaptive lot, moving back and forth? We'll get this happening tonight. Over to you.
Thanks, Maria. It sums up the sector. You've got to be adaptable, you've got to be fluid, you've got to be ready for anything. That's fantastic. I'll try and get this right the second time. My name's Ines Willux. I'm the Chair of Migration Council of Australia. On behalf of the board, and all the staff, including our CEO, Carla Wilshire. It's my privilege to welcome you all here tonight, no matter where you are. And wasn't that a fantastic first award for tonight? I thank you for your participation, your excitement, and your preparedness to join with us in what is a terrific journey for every one of us, migrants, one and all, around the country. It's my privilege tonight to introduce the new Minister for Immigration and Settlement Services, Alex Hawke, who's going to speak to us tonight. Alex has just taken up the portfolio, but he's not new to the portfolio. He knows the issues and the concerns of settlement sector, migration sector very well. He's been here before and he understands some of the big concerns that all of us have. This is a monumental time to assume the role as a Minister for Immigration. Obviously, the past year has been very difficult when it comes to migration generally, both in and out of Australia. But we're now perhaps at the end of the first act of the three-act play of COVID, or we're into the second act, and we hope with the vaccine that's coming, we'll be able to see international borders open more fully as time goes on, and we can resume something akin to normal service. But certainly Australia needs its migrants, and it needs the economic impact that its migrants bring to us all. And we can't wait for that day to come when we are able to welcome migrants back in a significant way to Australia. We do, though, face many challenges to get that right, to get that our settlement programs right, and to get people actively engaged in the economic benefit for Australia, as well as community integration. So this is a significant time in the migration and settlement space in Australia. As we were just shown and demonstrated, we have to move quickly in this space. We need to be adaptable, but this is a space where innovation and ingenuity are front of mind and front of action. And the sector is all about solutions rather than problems. And it's all about a can-do attitude to make things work for all of us. This is a sector that embraces hope over adversity, and a sector where going the extra mile is business as usual. That ethos has built our nation, and for that we can all be proud. The Minister is with us now, and he's going to provide us with some thoughts around the challenges and the opportunities that we now face. So it's my great pleasure and privilege to welcome to these awards tonight the Honourable Alex Hawke to share some views with us. Minister, over to you. Great to see you again.
Hi, Ines, and hi, everybody. Thanks for the opportunity to be here. I just got back from the division and several things happened, so I'll tell you about those in a second. I'd like to start by acknowledging the traditional owners as well of the land and acknowledge elders past, present and emerging. I just got back in time to see Abdurrahman and the excitement there, and I was just watching a bit of that excitement unfold. So that's, I think that pretty much sums up my view of the Australian Migration and Settlement Awards each year, and certainly the view of all the members of Parliament that are on tonight. You know, we're sad that we can't go ahead in person, because it's always such a fun event, and it's always something that we love having in the building, and the spirit of it is great, and it really does bring a great joy to all of us. I walked back from this division with the Prime Minister, and he asked me to pass on as well his best wishes as a former immigration minister. It's always good to work for a Prime Minister that knows your portfolio better than you do. It's always very helpful. But he did ask me to say he has very fond memories of the Settlement Awards and passed on his all the very best for the participants tonight. I do want to acknowledge, of course, all the members of Parliament who are on the line from the government and the opposition, especially my ministerial colleague Nola Marino, and the opposition led by Andrew Giles, the Shadow Multicultural Minister as well. I appreciate all of you being here. I think that is reflective, having so many people online for this, of how much we really support this and can't wait to see you all in person. I'd also shout out to Alison. Thanks for stepping in there while we had to do that. And Alison's a very unique role in the department, as you know, in this space and doing a lot of policy work. So please, my encouragement to you, all of you, is to make sure you're speaking with Alison in coming weeks about the work she's doing, and you're getting as much time to have input with her as possible. So we appreciate the role that the Coordinator General of Migrant Services is playing. I'd also acknowledge our Department Secretary, Andrew Keffer, I think is on the line as well from Home Affairs, and also everyone who has joined us from the UNHCR and other relevant bodies as well. Look, tonight, I don't propose to speak too long. I hear what Ines is saying about the significant year that we've had, and certainly I'm a big admirer of the work that has been done by the Migration Council, by all of the settlement bodies that we have in Australia in the past 12 months. They've kept going through a pretty difficult time and continue to produce those great outcomes that we do want from the government's perspective and that we do fund in our budgets. We certainly have a lot of money that we put aside in budgets for settlement services. And I do appreciate the fact that everybody in the last 12 months really came together and stayed together and made sure we had that great social cohesion that we saw last week in the Scanlon report. I think you all know what I'm talking about when I say Australia is the most successful multicultural society in the world. We say one of. I tend to say it is the best, the Australian unique brand of multiculturalism. Has been some of the most successful integration results that we've seen anywhere in the world, comparable with anybody's performance. And we can rightly be proud of that journey that we've had. Our modern nation has come from an ancient civilization, but we've brought people from more than 300 different ancestries to this country. But more importantly, successfully integrated them into that ancient and modern culture in a way that has produced such social cohesion. And when we look at what's happening around the world in the past 12 months, we know that is no small achievement either for the last year, but also historically as well. And, I think it's very important that we reflect on the great multicultural society that we've built and the success that we've had. We're certainly enriched by all of the customs, faiths, ideas, the music, the dance. I'd even say to you, we're enriched by Joe Kelly's music as well, if I was being controversial for a moment. Someone said to me, that's Joe Kelly from The Australian. I wasn't quite sure about that. And then, yes, it was. So well done, Joe. But this is our diverse and multicultural and multi-faith community, I think, in action, making us stronger and making us more prosperous as a society. We've got a lot to offer in Australia in times ahead in terms of greater social cohesion, and the Prime Minister makes this point regularly. And in return, of course, we ask a lot of our migrants in terms of what they can do for Australia as well. And the pride that they have in their successful journeys of becoming Australian, I think, is reflective of that spirit and something that I know produces great pride in the work that all of you do. It's very exciting, of course, to be here for the awards. And, as an interlude, I'll say, I'll give a heart attack to the organisers. I'm happy to show you an envelope, but, I'm not going to show you what's in it. I've looked in the envelope. I know what's in the envelope. But I'm going to, again, not give you a heart attack by not pulling anything out of the envelope. I'll just put it down next to me, as per my instructions. But, I think the fact that we're here tonight for awards demonstrates, our thanks and our gratitude and the gratitude from all of us, for the great, outcomes, the vocation that you all engage in to produce good outcomes for people. So the government fully supports this. This year, of course, we have a lot planned in our multicultural and social cohesion space. We certainly want our new arrivals, when we're able to return to the levels that we want and seek in Australia, to integrate, and obviously that relies on well-managed migration, which is the immigration side of my portfolio. We do have this year ahead of us, and I've said this to the sector, I'll say this to you tonight. We've got, maybe a 1 in 100 year opportunity to reflect on our service delivery models, our outcomes, how to improve them even better, how to take advantage of a time when we won't be able to meet every single position in every part of our immigration program simply by virtue of the lack of movement for the bulk of this year, and that does mean the government will use its time well working with you and the partners that we have in the sector to see what we can do even better from the allocation that we have. And we spend about 1.8 billion over the forward estimates towards refugee assistance and settlement services, including our English language learning for humanitarian entrance. And that investment, it is time to say, how can we take that investment and work together with the opportunity that's been given us this year to do even better and more with that. So, as Minister, I'm particularly focused on how do we this year take the opportunity to do better, to do those things we might never have had. I mean, we've never had a year in immigration terms where we've had a pause like this, I think, in anyone's memory. So it does represent that opportunity. And I know people are excited about that opportunity and how we can make those changes we need to make. I'm particularly focused on driving success, ensuring migrants and refugees learn English, obviously, and that's been well promoted by the government. But we also want to see those individual economic outcomes for refugees and migrants, even the people who have sometimes we're not able to go back and assist again. I think this year we'll be able to do something unique and go back and help again and make an even greater impact. Tonight, I'm not going to, I think, go on about the government's policies. It's too exciting a night. On Zoom, of course, I think the tolerance for long speeches diminishes. I do want to say, though, that, the Cabinet and the government is very focused, and I know the Parliament as well, on what we can do this year to enhance social cohesion, take the opportunity that has been afforded by the terrible events of the pandemic to keep our society together, to keep outcomes for refugees and migrants and people in our humanitarian entry high and keep them even higher. And I know together we will produce, I think, some pretty good improvements in the next 12 months. And I know we're going to do even better and have even more success and awards to celebrate than what we have tonight. I want to thank, of course, the Migration Council and Ines, the team, the board, everybody that's worked so hard through the pandemic to keep people together and focused. I very much look forward to working with you as well throughout the year. We've had several meetings already, and I know there's going to be a lot more to come. So I'll hand back to you, Ines, if you like. We have another division coming up soon, so I don't want to miss it. And I hope this isn't the only envelope, so I want to make sure I get that done as well.
The SETS Settlement Innovation Award honours an organisation or SETS initiative that has demonstrated the most innovative methods to support newly arrived refugees, migrants or the local community while navigating the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic. This year, the finalists are Bendigo Community Health Services for their Coronavirus Bendigo Refugee Resource Hub, an online platform that informs migrants and refugees about topics related to COVID-19. Centrecare Far North Queensland for their COVID Savvy initiative that kept communities safe and connected during the pandemic. Migrant Resource Centre Tasmania for On Your Frequency, a SoundCloud channel that builds the digital literacy skills of new refugees and migrants.
Right, so you can hear me. First test, great, excellent, that's good news. Well, that is a very exciting set of finalists, so obviously very close competition. And I'm happy to announce that the winner of the SETS Settlement Innovation Award is the Bendigo Community Health Services for the Bendigo Coronavirus Refugee Resources Hub. Well done, guys, fantastic.
This is a complete surprise. I'm delighted to accept the award on behalf of our wonderful Karen Darindika speaking refugee communities in Bendigo and our extremely talented and dedicated staff of refugee background. We stood together about a year ago and thought, how are we going to work with community in this complex environment to keep each other safe, particularly those with little English. We got together with our comms department, and thank you, Rod Case, and developed and co-designed with community videos and messages. We worked with Karen businesses and so on to bring the message of COVID safety to as many people as we could. We've learned a lot from our experience. It's been a warm and rich experience, and some of those learnings we're continuing on. We developed an innovative Karen phone hotline staffed by Karen staff, which we are going to continue, and that's been very useful. We're now continuing our great work with these communities with regard to vaccination awareness raising and myth busting and so on. We're also continuing our work in protecting our people of refugee background locally with regard to heat, health, fire and flood. It's a great honour to work with our people of refugee background, and we've welcomed many people to Bendigo. Bendigo has become a destination of choice. I particularly like to thank our cultural diversity and our settlement team and people like Zahira Zemi and Nachi Young. We can't do the work without them. They teach us more than we could ever learn from a book. So thank you very much, Minister Alex Hawke, the Migration and Settlement Council, for the awards. This award is for our people that we've welcomed to Australia. This award is for our people of refugee background who bring such strength and resilience to our country. This award is also to celebrate the work that everybody across Australia has done to keep each other safe, particularly those with little English. So thank you. It's a great and exciting award.
Woohoo! Woo!
As the fear of a global pandemic gripped their community, Bendigo Community Health Services stepped up, creating the Coronavirus Refugee Resource Hub. A unique portal, the Hub provides vital public health information in language, while hardworking staff have made it their mission to check in regularly with at-risk groups, providing comfort and care. The Hub has now gone global, with other health services in countries all around the world using their vital resources. And the good work did not stop there. In response to increased racism, Bendigo Community Health Services partnered with Believe in Bendigo to send out 3,000 Everybody's Welcome wheelie bin stickers, generating a sea of inclusive messages to support victims and foster belonging.
Congratulations, Bendigo Community Health. Again, an incredibly deserving recipient of that award. Some terrific work, and what a great video showcasing the level of innovation that's out there, particularly in regional areas across the country. And thank you, of course, to our Minister, Alex Hawke, for darting in and out and gracing us with his presence and sharing some insights into current developments. We thank you again, Minister Alex Hawke. I just want to remind people as well, don't forget to get your photos in of your best dressed on Facebook. I'd now like to turn to the two trivia questions. The next two questions, get your responses in. How many times has the Department of Home Affairs changed its name since 1916? Now, who amongst you would be able to answer this? Is it 11, 7, 9 or 10? How many times has the Department of Home Affairs changed its name since 1916? Get those responses in. You'll have 10 minutes before entries close. Trivia question number 3. Okay, so question number 3, trivia question number 3. Approximately how many of Australian small business are owned by migrants? There's 4 options there. Is it 20 to 30%, 30 to 40%, 40 to 50%, or 10 to 20%? So approximately how many Australian small businesses are owned by migrants? Get your entries in, 10 minutes, and don't forget, best dressed. We want to see the style and the festivities that no doubt are happening across our lounge rooms in Australia. 10 minutes to get those entries in, folks. I'd now like to move on to introducing to you Nyadol Nguyen, a remarkable woman, a dynamo, a lawyer, a human rights advocate, a writer, an accomplished public speaker. I could go on and on. From a childhood in refugee camps in Ethiopia and Kenya to now chairing Australia's National Migrant and Refugee Women's Alliance, of course, the Harmony Alliance. Nyadol's journey is one of fervent pursuit for justice. A good dear friend of mine, Nyadol, will be presenting the award for empowering women in sets. Over to you, Nyadol.
Thank you very much, Maria, for that generous introduction. Maria, I consider her my Greek auntie. It's been wonderful growing around her and getting to know her. But let me stick to what I've been called to do instead of praising Maria, because I dearly love her. As been mentioned, my name is Nyadol Nguyen, and I am the new chair of Harmony Alliance. I would first like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands that I'm on, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, and pay my respects to their elders past and present. It's always notable for me when I acknowledge the traditional owners of this land to post, because I am a Black immigrant coming into a country that has a deep history, a Black history of resistance, of survival, and of continual cultural contribution to Australian community. So it's just not a rhetorical reference. It is something that I truly respect, and I hope that this country get to reflect in its full honesty at some point. I'm going to try not to be political and move on to the next stage, which is to acknowledge all the politicians across the board, clearly not showing any bias here. I'm not going to refer to all of you by titles, but I would like to very much acknowledge your presence here. And then, of course, acknowledge all the recipients that have had a word today, and the migrant communities. I think that the reference that we hear all the time, that Australia is the most successful multicultural society in the world, is one in which the people that makes it happen are the migrants that settled in this country. Their ability to adapt, their ability to contribute, their ability to, sometimes after the history of dispossession and war, to recreate life that are meaningful and powerful, not only for themselves and to transform the community they come into. So whether they are recognized here today with awards or not, we know, at least those of us living in the community, the amount of seen and unseen work that goes on behind the scene. But it's definitely wonderful to be in this position, to be able to acknowledge the people that have been able to rise to a noticeable space, and to bring light again to both the opportunities that I think are presented in a country like Australia and the work that settlement services do. As a person who came to this country as a refugee, I have benefited from those settlement services. They have assisted me almost through all my journey, from starting primary school here to ending up, as a lawyer, things that as a young kid in a refugee camp, you don't think would happen. So there is a lot to acknowledge and a lot to praise in all these services that put in all this work to make sure that this successful multicultural society we hold up is built on strong foundations that can last us into the future. I think, There's a quote I really like that I've read from a speech by Paul Keating. I have read other speeches, but I refer to this particular speech because it looks particularly at the issue of multiculturalism as forward-looking issue. And he refers to this statement that I've always think is so useful in capturing both the past and the future. The idea that we should not ascend to this notion or the myth of monoculturalism and the lie that we can retreat to it. Australia had a history that was multicultural, a First Nation people that existed before settlement, then there was settlement, then there are the new migrants that come in. We have always been a country of migrants from the start, a multicultural society. I am very, very honored to play a part through Harmony Alliance and the advocacy work that they do, and to be here today and get to announce the next winner. It was sent to me, and I've been trying so hard not to make it public.
The Award for Empowering Women in SETS honours an initiative, organisation or individual that has empowered migrant and refugee women in the SETS program with a focus on safety, participation or leadership, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. This year, the finalists are Centrecare, Far North Queensland, for their Cairns Multicultural Women's Empowerment Initiative, where migrant women from diverse cultures come together and support each other. Sandra Abid, from Spectrum Migrant Resource Centre, whose lived experience as a refugee drives her work. Migrant and Refugee Settlement Services Australia, for their Sewing and Craft program, equipping migrants and refugees with practical skills to run a small business.
And I am very glad to announce that the winner is MARC, which is Migrants and Refugee Resource Centre Australia. Congratulations, guys.
You can all hear me. Good evening, everybody. I am so pleased to accept this award on behalf of Mars. Our Sewing and Craft program has supported many women from CALD backgrounds over the years, developing their skills, building leadership and business knowledge, and most importantly, providing a strong community base for multicultural women in Canberra. It is great to see Lynn and her wonderful team of volunteers recognized for the work that they do. They have gone above and beyond to reach out to socially isolated clients during COVID, and they continue to provide that connection and support. It is wonderful to see their dedication and determination acknowledged through this award. So I would like to thank the panel and the Migration Council of Australia to recognize the hard work that these ladies have contributed towards engaging with the migrant women in ACT. So thanks again, and look forward to meeting you all one day.
Lean in and learn to sew while you master leadership, management and digital technologies. The Mars Sewing and Craft program, led by Lynn Johnson and her committed team of volunteers, is more than an activity. It is a sanctuary for migrant women to learn new skills and build social capital. The program focuses on practical skills to independently start and run a small business and includes language classes. When the pandemic hit, the program went digital, ensuring women maintained their connections and kept their goals. And with a focus on innovation and care, the women rapidly produced over 1,000 reusable face masks, providing them to vulnerable community members who could not afford PPE.
Well done, Dewani, to you and the team at Mars for a terrific initiative. Thanks, Nyadol, for that and for not revealing who won to anybody. Thank you so much. It's now time to introduce the last trivia question. The last question for the night, and my goodness, if we don't know what SEX stands for at the moment, I'd be a touch concerned. What does SEX stand for? Is it settlement engagement and transition support? Is it settlement engagement and temporary support? Is it settlement entry and transition support? Or is it settlement engagement and transition services? So last entry for the night, get it in. Don't forget your Facebook posts or your photos of your best dressed out there. We'll be announcing the winners at the end of tonight. It now gives me great pleasure to introduce a dear friend, someone who's incredibly well known to all of us, who's been such a foundational person in the sector, has inspired so many of us. Carla Wilshire, of course, CEO of Migration Council of Australia, to deliver the final note of thanks. Great to see you, Carla. What a terrific night. A few glitches, but we got through it. Although I have to say, I do miss the glamour and the glitz of Parliament House, but I reckon we did okay. Over to you, Carla.
Well, first of all, my job is to do a vote of thanks at the end of the evening, and there are so many people to thank. But first of all, our wonderful MC, Maria Demopoulos, thank you so much. It's hard to do anything on Zoom, and it's so hard when you can't sort of get the bounce back from the audience. But thank you so much for fulfilling that really critical and important role. I'd like to obviously acknowledge the Minister and thank him so much for his time and also for taking on the portfolio and the dedication to it. The Shadow Minister, who is on the line as well, and really thank him for his commitment to the portfolio. Alison Larkins and Nigel, thank you both so much for making the time, for giving away such meaningful awards. And I want to thank our staff for putting the event together, to Sam and Inna, my chair, Ines Willix, who does a fantastic job year in, year out. Don't go anywhere. And to the whole team, but particularly to the settlement sector. We've obviously been running SETS COP for the past year. It's been fantastic. It's been fantastic to get to know people through that lens as well, and to work so closely. The amount of effort that people have put in during COVID, and really to step up to the plate around so many of the initiatives and the working groups that we've been working with you on. We really appreciate it. Thank you all.
Carla, thanks so much for those vote of thanks. And I want to reiterate that the winners tonight, of course, are all of the sector, whilst the awards have gone to incredibly deserving winners, the finalists themselves. What a showcase of incredible talent. It's so indicative of the contribution that's made over many hard sort of months, weeks, years, etc. So selecting winners, no easy task, but of course, again, I want to end by congratulating all the award winners and finalists tonight. You've done a fabulous job. You do us proud. I'm now, I think, at the stage where, yes, I've been texted the winners. Anna Rogers, she knows who she is out there, is the winner of Best Dressed. Congratulations to Anna for that deserving award, although I've yet to see the pictures, so I look forward to that at the end of the night. And the winner of the trivia, drum roll please, Anne Camille, is indeed our winner for the night. Congratulations to both of you. Look, thank you all for participating tonight. It is a challenge, emceeing an event and talking to yourself largely, but I can feel the energy that's out there. No doubt tomorrow we'll be having lots of conversations and excited discussions about the wonderful contributions that people have made. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks again, and particularly to the Migration Council of Australia for persisting and hosting these awards despite adversity and challenges. Have a good night.